Welcome to the journey of you. You guys, I'm so excited to introduce you today. We're going to be talking with Destiny Dez Jordan, aka Dez or Financial Coach Dez. But when I first met her, her story inspired me so much that I was like, you all have to meet her. You have to hear about her story and just the joy and confidence that she exudes. So, Destiny, welcome.
Thank you for having me, Miss Tonia. I am truly happy and appreciative of this opportunity, especially only having met you once. I just feel um honored. I feel really honored and I'm very, like I said, appreciative of it, honestly.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm super excited to have you. And I'd love for you to just tell us a little bit about you. Who is Destiny?
Oh God, I love that question. I would say Destiny is a person who is ever changing, multifaceted, and a truly ambitious and bold fear. Ooh, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. It was like it froze for a second. I was like, what's happening? So
Uh,
sorry.
Perfect timing, right?
Yes, yes. Because the last thing you said was bold, fierce, and then it froze. So, okay, I'm sorry. Keep going.
No, you're fine. I hope nothing messed up. I hope I didn't mess anything
Yeah,
up.
it's good.
Um, I think I was saying Destiny is well, I believe Destiny is a very ambitious, bold, fierce, multifaceted, and ambitious young Black woman. And I have gone on several journeys in my young lifetime and probably many more to go. I am sometimes overly ambitious and easily bored, natural person who enjoys I enjoy freedom. I think that's the biggest word I can put to it. And not only freedom when it comes to just like, anything you think of as far as like, freedom from work or being able to travel, but freedom of mind. I go through that every day of trying to be an open-minded, educated individual so that, I don't get complacent in life. And that's my overall goal for freedom and to be non-complacent. So with that being said, that has led me to many things in life. Whether that be exploring who I am, whether it be sexually, individually, what my motivations are, what makes me happy. And I've gone through many ventures. Some of them have been what most people know me as now is financial coaching. Others is travel. My overall goal with myself and my family was to have the freedom to when I did have a child, to be able to be home with them and enjoy those moments in life that I feel like every single person I've talked to, whether male or female, father, dad, granddad, they're always like, you want to cherish those moments. And that burned so far into me. I think that is what stemmed me this journey of like freedom and being multifaceted and ever changing. Seeing my mom growing up when I would come home from school and she'd be leaving to go to work. When she'd be leaving to go to work, I'd be going to bed. And those kinds of moments in your life, um, hopefully I don't get emotional today.
Okay.
Um, those kinds of moments in your life stem who you are and who you grow to be. And I think that part was a big part of me, seeing them financially, which stemmed Financial Coach Dez. And also seeing how, those moments like my mom regrets, like she feels like we were closer to my father than her. And she was mom and dad 90% of the time. And so that made me strive for freedom in the future because I know my parents didn't have that.
Mm.
And they had me at a young age. And so they just had to do what they had to do. And so that caused me to want to travel, leave. My family moved us from New York to Virginia.
Mhm.
I moved from Virginia to Florida. Well, just me and my boyfriend at the time. We were just like,
Yeah.
let's start over. Let's just go. Most people was like, why did you move to Florida? Because. Because why not? I've never been on
Yeah.
the side of the East Coast before I became an adult and have to give myself those own experiences. So why not? Why stop yourself? Why be afraid? Um, so I did that. And thankfully, I had my partner with me, and he brought out a lot of what was in me already. So I am very thankful for him. But I would say a lot of the root of it was watching my parents growing up and
Yeah.
seeing and wanting that freedom. So right now, it's wanting an RV and being able to have the flexibility of work-life balance, being able to be my own person, my own individual, and taking my family on road trips that I've never been able to see. So that's me.
I love that. I love that. Even just how you explained freedom, like that's actually my word for this year. It's freedom. And mostly right now, freedom in time for those very reasons where I have the time to spend with family, to also work, do the things that I enjoy, to also spend time getting to know me better. And so that freedom is huge. But I love that you take that even a step further when you talk about just even your mind space and mental health, because I think a lot of us get stuck there. And you mentioned just now that your partner even helped bring that out of you. I'd love to hear a little bit more about that and how exactly that came about.
Yes, absolutely. So we're high school sweethearts.
Mhm.
We were we were together since 15 and 16 years old.
Wow.
Um, and how we met is still unbelievable to me, but he was just that he was that kid that was he was a social butterfly like I was, but like we were different social butterflies. And for
Okay.
people that are into zodiacs, we're both Sagittarius,
Gotcha.
if that matters to anyone. But yes, we're both Sagittarius. We're in it. Like we know a lot about it. We know a lot about how that stems from who we are. And we didn't like learn about Sagittarius first, and then no, it's like you look at yourself, you learn yourself individually, and then you grow up and like you learn more about life, astrology, whatever,
Yeah.
and then you're like, wow, that fits. Or like that's how I am, and you understand
Yeah.
yourself more and know how to hone it and control
Yeah.
things.
That's good.
So that's one thing. So that's who we are as far as like people goes or whatever. And we met in high school, and let's just say like it stemmed from there. It was like love at first sight. He's honestly my first boyfriend. Um yes,
Oh.
my first boyfriend, my first sexual partner. So everything. And he became my world,
Yeah.
right? So much, and you guys know that young love, that love that just takes you over and like you embody that other person, like your souls entwined. It just feels like everything is
Yeah.
like perfect. And honestly, it wasn't. My parents were not the type to let me date at all. I didn't date
Okay.
nobody. I was the type of girl that scouted out, I didn't trust no type of dude. I was
Yes.
like, you're playing games, you're messing with my heart. Like, I don't
Yeah.
got time. I was not the type to attach myself to anybody. So he was the first person I did that to because he showed me how his mental was and he cared
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
about like learning me. I think the thing that got me was he was like, I already read you. And I'm like, well, no dude's ever said that. Keep going. Keep going. And mind you, he's like 16. And I'm like, all these dudes care about is sex. Like, I don't got
Yes.
time. I can't bring anybody home to my parents because they don't even let me talk to boys. Okay.
Yes.
Um, so he was like, I can read you. And when I tell you, I don't even remember everything he said, but like
Mhm.
that boy read me. And I think after that, I was like, I'm gonna keep him on my radar. And ever since then, it was like a spark. He loved my ambition. He loved how confident I was. He loved that I wasn't easy. I think that's the one thing. And not saying that, but back in high school, a lot of girls are just,
It's
they're
true.
opening up to their femininity, their
Yeah.
sexuality, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. When the dude is looking for their wife, they kind of look for certain things, and I guess
Yeah.
he saw those in me. And so that
I
sparked
love
us
that. Yeah.
going forward into college, just for disclaimer purposes, I've found a part of myself that I didn't know was there. So
Mhm.
I am bisexual,
Mhm.
and I didn't know that at the time until college. And
Yeah.
it wasn't just like, oh, it's a college thing, right? It was like dibbles and dabbles. I kind of felt it way back in high school, but I ignored it and I didn't really like have any ventures with women
Mhm.
until college. And I told him about it. He didn't know how to feel at first.
Yeah.
Um, but let's just say, long story short, when we got to the bottom of it, he was like, "Well, I'm not leaving you, and you're not leaving me." And that's because I was like, "Deuces, like I
Yeah.
don't want nobody. Let me figure myself out.
Yeah.
There's something else going on, but I didn't want to admit it.
Yeah.
And he looked me in my eyes, and we were in the hallway of my dorm, and he was just like, "You need to be you." I will be here with you by your side through this journey. You can be you. It's
Mhm.
okay to admit it. It's okay to be you. And when I tell y'all, I was like, okay, so we went through the ventures together.
Yeah.
And that sparked a whole other thing. And so we did that for a while. I still was very much I was very much just on him a lot,
Mhm.
to where you can lose yourself a bit.
Yeah.
So another conversation we had was when he separated from me because, as a young teenager, sometimes you don't know how to communicate with a man yet. You don't know how to give space, become your own woman. A lot of us don't learn that at an early age.
Yeah. It's
And
true.
so, especially what I saw growing up, like my mom's whole life was my dad,
Yeah.
so I never really seen her by herself.
Mhm.
So I knew I wanted the man who I lost my virginity to be the man I married, to be the
Yeah.
man that I have kids with, which is happening, but which is happening. But at the time, you have to learn so many things. And,
Yeah.
there's so many things you learn in your teenage years and growing up into your adulthood. And so he was like, "You need to take a minute and we need to be by ourselves." And I thought it was just this escape route for him to be like, "I'm
Mhm.
gonna do my own thing."
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought it was an escape route. But then he asked me, he was like, "What do you want? Like, who is Destiny? And what do you like to do for fun? Like, what do you like?" And I couldn't answer.
Mhm.
I could not answer. Those were some powerful words, and I could not answer that. And then, it pretty much proved his point.
Yeah.
So I had to deal with the brief separation, which we've never been separated longer than a couple of weeks or months.
Yeah.
um, but he gave me that space, and I was able to kind of finally worry about myself. And even though I thought about him 24/7, there were inklings of moments where I was like, okay, this is my time to figure out me, like
Yeah.
figure out what else is out there, but also figure out like what I like to do for fun. Do I like to be around girls more? Do I like to be around guys more? Do I like to go to parties? Am I not a party person? Do I like to go outside and venture with other people? Do I like to go to church every day? So those
Yeah.
are the
Yeah.
things that I had to learn. And because of him, and what he pulled out of me, not only was it individuality, not only was it being by my side and giving me that support, which I know not many people have. So I was um very fortunate to have that, because he supported me more than my parents growing
Mhm.
up in my teenage years. And he supported a lot of the freedom that I needed. I was not only I have an attachment
Mhm.
to people that I
Mhm.
love, whether that be him or my parents. And I always felt like I was needed in someone's life because of how I grew up and my
Yeah.
parents needed me or
Yeah.
relied on us. So I wanted to be close to my parents. I wanted to stay there with them. And he kind of like took that unhealthy attachment and was like, you need to be your own you. You need to worry about destiny.
Good.
And he helped me with the freedom that starts on the inside. And that starts with how you were growing up with your parents.
Mhm.
And honestly, we're still working on that to this day,
Yeah.
honestly. So that is how our journey started, and that is how he played a huge part in helping me build my confidence, helping me build my individuality. Shoot, it was his idea to move to Florida, and I was like, sure, sure. So he's a huge part of my life for
I
sure.
love it. I love
Mhm.
that. And you mentioned freedom on the inside. And I think that's where a lot of us get stuck
Yeah.
because we're searching for so many things externally when we do need to focus internally, because that's where we're able to gain that strength and really be like, okay, this is who I am. So tell me a little bit more about that, because you mentioned travel, you also mentioned financial coaching. Like, how did you even like pick those things or determine what your path was going to be?
Well, it starts on the inside.
Mhm.
And a lot of people forget that. It starts on the inside, and honestly, there's humps, there's
Mhm.
ups and downs,
Mhm.
and I don't want people to forget that you're gonna go through ups and downs. Currently, I'm in a down, honestly,
Mhm.
um, because of these new emotions and
Yeah.
expecting and whatnot.
Yeah.
Um, I'm going through a down where I'm like, I have to revisit who is Destiny. And I'm honestly glad we're having this conversation because this is something I thought about last night.
Mhm.
This is something I got emotional over last night. This is something I cried about last night, to my partner.
Mhm.
And I'm just like, where is my ambition? Where is destiny? What is happening to me?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so just to be vulnerable here, this is something that comes from the inside. And he was like, well, what made you ambitious? I'm like, I don't know me. I made myself ambitious. I made myself that go-getter that, wanted to go after things. And I feel like I have these things in front of me that I know is a part of me that I enjoy, like
Mhm.
coaching.
Yeah.
And I don't not necessarily just with finance, but
Mhm.
just help people in general, which I know I might expand upon finances, expand upon just finances and go more into life as well. But finance
Yeah.
is a huge part of life that I know a lot of people need, but not a lot of people are ready for.
True.
Um, so that part of me is still there. I know I love helping people. I know that it I explained this to a lady I spoke to this past week for a prospect call, and I was just like, I really truly enjoy helping people. Um Talking to even when I be vulnerable with the people that I speak to. I'm on their level.
Yeah.
That's the best way to speak to someone who is calling you for that, relief, that hope
Mhm.
that they hope to that you give them. And telling them what's real honestly helps them more than just giving them a step to-do list.
Yep. That's true.
And I've honed in on that. And I think that's what makes me keep going because even when I'm going through things, I tell them like I had coaching clients who were going through things in their marriage and in their finances, and I had them a couple, and they were going through things, and so was I. But and everybody does, right? But
Mhm.
when you can say that after you talk to people and you feel a sense of relief rather than like oh, I don't want to, like, this is overwhelming. I don't feel a sense of peace within this. That's how you know, like, it's not maybe the right thing for you. But when I feel that overwhelming sense of like, I did good, or like, oh my goodness, like they learned something, or they took something that I said and they applied it, that makes me feel so good. And honestly, I look forward to those calls because
Yeah.
they make me feel like a piece of me. um, and so that's coaching. That's that. So I don't know, it
Oh.
depends on where life goes if I wanna extend it far past finances.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know yet. But I do know I mix travel and that. So if I can turn my clientele into a mix of two things I love, helping people not only with their finances but also their travel. A lot of people either have never traveled or a lot of families I've never traveled growing up. just to the states I lived in, which is New York and Virginia. That was pretty much it. And I never been to a lot of different places, and a lot of families don't. And I've talked to many families who want to go and they want to, take their kids somewhere and they want better for them, or they want their kids to experience travel like they did, but they're having financial issues. And those types of things motivate me to want to speak with them and like give them that hope and give them that plan and help them become more organized, because that plays a huge role
Yeah.
in giving and helping the kids learn, so that kids like me who grew up and watched my parents struggle and watch my mom go and working late and not being able to be home, I want to give these kids that freedom that's growing up. And to do that, I have to reach the parents.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where my love lies, with travel and helping people. So not only just like booking travel, I love the research part of it, I'm not gonna lie, but I don't just want to book travel, I want people to
Yeah.
learn something as well.
Yeah.
So that's why I think, like for example, I every person that I in the future, I haven't gotten to this point yet, but I want to get to the point where I can have a client and they're with me for a year to 2 years,
Mm.
and I can get them to the point where they're at the end of our engagement, they have tackled at least one of their big goals. Usually it's buying a house,
Mhm.
but I want it to be more focused on travel,
Yeah.
because that's where my love lies really. So if I can get them to go on that one trip they always wanted to go on, which I ask people during every call, where do you want to go? What do you like? What makes you happy? And I literally ask that question on almost every call, and no one can answer that, especially
Believe it.
mothers.
I believe it. I believe it.
Especially mothers, I ask that question all the time, and I'm just like, "Well, what do you enjoy? What makes you happy?" And they're like, "Ooh." And then as I dig in, finally they like tell me something later on, and they're like, "Well, I do like cooking, and we be having a barbecue thing, and the whole neighborhood love." And I'm like, "Why didn't you tell me this earlier? Why are you holding back your talent?" That's how you make money.
Yes,
So
yes.
I have to give people this, and sometimes you just need a mirror to tell you
Yeah.
like what you already know. And
Yep.
that's kind of my job. And I enjoy being that mirror for people because I love being direct. I love playing the mind games. And as a psychology person, you learn so much about people and their journey. And with that, I learn things. So it's not only for them, it's for me. And we both can grow. So that's currently where I'm at with that.
So when you were going on the journey of getting to know Destiny and you had that time apart to really get to know more about yourself, did you know like it was going to be coaching and that you'd be in the role where you could help people? Or like were you looking at a different path and you changed your mind? Did you always know, or how did you kind of discover that?
That's a great question. I didn't know I was going to end up in coaching. Honestly, I was like, I'm like 21, 20. I think I was 20 at the time.
Hmm.
Or 21 or 20 going on 21 anyway
Yeah.
when I started. So I was working for a specific company, a financial advisor.
Hmm.
And she had a financial advising firm, and she helped me get to a lot of places I am today, even though we're no longer together. And
Hmm.
so I'm always appreciative of the experience and the transition that I've been able to make within myself, and that was huge. Being able to give the opportunity, being able to be around big people in the room has been very inspirational for me. Remember, you're only as good as the company you keep.
Very
um,
true.
most of the time.
Yes.
I wouldn't say all of the time, but most of the time, you're only as good as the company you keep, and you learn so much more when you're in a room full of big people, and you gain so much more confidence when you're in a room of people where you want to be at in life. And
Yeah,
that's probably a tip I'll say for the
that's a
end.
good one. That's a good one.
That's a good one, right? We're gonna hold that. But she had provided me the opportunity because she was coaching, and then she was like, "Well, I'm going to give you this." And at the time, I was only doing sales, so and I told her from up front, I was like, "Listen, I'm in school. I only want to do like I'm only committing maybe to a year because I still have to get my degree." And
Mm.
mind you, it was like right after the pandemic, so this was 2021. And I was like, I was still like in the middle of school. I'm a big multifaceted person, so I was into a lot of different side hustles. I'm like
Yeah.
the big side hustle girl. So anything you could think of, I was doing the surveys where they pay you like 30 to $100 to like, review something. I went to get my CNA license. Did I use it? No. But I got it.
But you
Um,
got it.
I got it because I could be like a contractor and go
Yeah.
somewhere for like $20 an hour for a good 8-hour shift and make some money, right?
Yeah.
Um, I also was a dog walker. And I still was doing all of this at the same time.
Wow.
So I was dog walking and I created a business plan off of it. So I was like, well, I'm gonna do drop shipping and I'm gonna be a dog walker and I'm gonna like sell things related because I was studying on how to make it, how to build wealth, how to, be a billionaire. I was studying with people like Robert Kiyosaki and Dave Ramsey
Good
and
one.
yeah, I was reading, I was watching, this
Yeah.
was like the year or two that I was like really heavy into making sure that I was on the right track or trying
Love
to get on
it.
the right track. So
Love
this
it.
is when that started. And I was on this every day I was educating myself while I was home. But I was boarding dogs, I was having doggy daycares, and I wrote out a whole plan that I probably still have for me and my fiance because he wanted to do piercing. Um, and he was afraid to start, but I pushed him to take the class, which he did a year later.
Yeah.
But I wrote the plan a year before. And I was like, well, you're gonna be a
Incredible.
piercer, you're gonna get your own jewelry, you're gonna sell your jewelry. Because what I learned from who was it? I think it was Robert Kiyosaki, I believe, or someone else. And they were like, you take one thing that you're good at. And it might have been who was it? I don't remember. You take one thing that you're good at and you make it into multiple sources. So
Hmm.
many people do it. One of them is my favorite Chef Ramsay.
Yes. Yes.
um watch his shows, love all his shows at the same time and he was one of the examples that was given and I was like he's right. Like Chef Ramsay's good at cooking and he's made so many income streams from just that one thing.
Yeah.
If I can
Literally.
find right, if I can find that and do that, then this is the way to go. So that's what stemmed all of my ventures, but I wanted to focus. I wanted to do one thing and I wanted to make it into multiple streams of income. Um, at the time it was minuscule, but it was something. I was
Yeah.
learning something.
Yeah.
So for him that was piercing, for me that was dogs at the time.
Mhm.
That's when I first got my dog and I was training him. I learned how to train. I learned how to like studying and stuff with drop shipping. I never actually did the drop shipping part.
Mhm.
Um, but I did want to be a travel agent as well, but I put that on hold because I'm going to focus on one thing. So
Yeah.
this was in 2021. I wanted to be a travel agent. I didn't do it. I should have. um, but I was also working for my job. This is when I was looking for virtual assisting as well, because I was like, if you have your own virtual assisting a business, you can have different clients and you can work that way. So I kind of understood the consulting realm and the virtual assisting realm back then. And
Mhm.
my employer found me on Upwork
Oh,
and
wow.
she gave
Okay.
me yeah, so she gave me the opportunity and then let's just say I grew very fast. So I
Yeah.
went from like the month later she had offered me to do coaching. She was like, "Well, I'll put you through the Dave Ramsey program and it's just something that you're interested in. You don't need a degree to like have this type of career."
Mhm.
I being ambitious, I'm like, "Well, I still want my degree because I'm
Yeah.
done anyway." Like I'm not wasting all that student loan money.
Yes.
So I still did it. And I did it all. I was doing it all. I was very, very ambitious back in 2020, 21. I say like I've kind of leveled and this is where I need to peak back up into that
Yeah.
same energy. I don't know where it came from, but I feel like I was in a new place and so I had this new energy. I'm ready to move. I'm ready to
Out
move
of
again.
Florida or like where?
It could be in Florida, but just
Mhm.
another place. Like I get a newfound energy from moving, but that's another thing. Um, so that's kind of where that started. And she introduced coaching to me, and I was like, I don't know if I can do this. Like I'm young, who's gonna listen to me? Like yes, I started with money at 17. I
Mhm.
started with credit at 18. As soon as I could get my first card. I had a credit score of like seven something by the time I was 20
Mhm.
but I was like, I'm young, there's so much I don't know. I didn't know if I was fully comfortable or confident doing it, but she pushed
Yes.
me. Um, she told me to keep going. There's a lot of things that I think other people know that
Mhm.
I know, but they don't know. And
Yeah.
so even that little information I might think is small, someone may think is big. So that's what I've learned over the course of doing this for the last 4 years, 3 to 4 years. Um, and I've grown from just sales to paperwork to just focusing on coaching and helping out with her clients. And that was our last engagement together. And then, I we went our separate ways, and I'm focusing on other goals, because not other goals, my original goals. Let me put it that way.
Mhm.
My original plan has always been, and I make sure every employer knows this, and she know this as well, was to be authentically me. I needed to express that, one, I know being a business owner is hard. It's not easy work. I wouldn't say hard, but it's not easy work.
Mhm.
And but I do know that I needed work-life balance. I needed to be self-sufficient so that when I did have a kid, or when I can still have that freedom, not only of space, but of mind, okay, of time. I don't want to run rampant for, in a space where I had to like go from working from home for 3 years
Mhm.
to going to someone's home to work. It just didn't fit with me mentally and spiritually.
Yeah.
And so that's what caused the decline that I'm trying to recover from. And that's what's been going on. But I'm still doing coaching, and I'm building my travel agency. Like, I'm learning, my first trip I hope to book for my aunt who's going to Disney for her daughter. So I'm hoping to do that. And then from there, I'm ready, to kind of take off and really get my energy back, because a lot of it was sucked from me over like a 3 month, 4 month time period. And I need to get that back.
Definitely, definitely. What would you say then has been the biggest obstacle for you? Would you say it's that point right now, or it being sucked from you, or like what would you say has been the biggest obstacle in the journey?
Me, my biggest obstacle is me currently.
Okay.
Um, I don't know what it is yet.
Mhm.
Um, all I know is that, um, when you let your mental health decline, it can be a hard space to get it back,
Mhm.
and it could be a roller coaster. It's gonna be a hump that you have to go over, but you just know you will go over it. I
Yeah.
just working on my way up, but that's why you have to try to protect your peace. That's why you have to. I think the biggest thing for me was not standing on what I originally planned on standing on, and that was not getting sucked up into the life that I didn't want for the sake of somebody else, for the
Mhm.
sake of, you know, being comfortable. And I got complacent. I got, okay, well, I'll sacrifice this for myself for the sake of like the comfortability or the stability, of being with this employer, or what have you. Knowing before that I was flourishing, and I was open-minded, and I was happy, even though I was adventurous, I guess. But I was happy, and I slowly started to get unhappy, and instead of getting out of it, I let myself stay in it. And I let myself get worse. And now I have to pull myself out of it. And I have to remember who I am, and I have to remember to never sacrifice that again for
That's
somebody else, because at the end of the day, they're going to look out for them, and you have to look out for you.
that's so true. I'm just writing that down because I'm like, I don't want to forget that it's so good.
Throwing a lot out there.
Yeah, you are, you are. What would you say then for like other people that are listening right now that maybe they're stuck too and they don't know how to get over that hump? They're not sure how to have that hope that they can make it again. Like, what would be your biggest aha moment or your biggest advice to give to them?
Absolutely. Well, people's um a lot of people that I talk to, or just myself, even my own parents, I've talked to my mom about it,
Mhm.
because I see how people can get stuck in this circle. And I don't want anyone to get stuck in this. There's a lot of different circles. There's the rat race, there's the mental, there's the physical, there's the financial. There's so many circles that you can get stuck in. And we if we're not going forwards, we're going backwards over time.
Yep.
And we have to we have to remember who we are and our strength. This is where it comes back to the inside. You have to start with within. And I heard that recently from my mother-in-law, because she was like, you guys have to work on yourselves inside. It'll make things better on the outside. This is for anything. This is for
Yeah.
yourself. This is for your relationships.
Yep.
This is for your children or what have you. Like, you become a better you when you work on the inside, and then things will start to come around you outside. I believe in manifesting what you want, right? And this for many people can mean different things. This can mean, God. This can mean, you know, the world. This can mean you. It could be, anything. But there's an energy, and we all can agree we all are energy.
Yep.
And I give examples to everybody I'm on a call with, and I'm just like, when you want a car, for example, and then you do your research for the car, first of all, you start seeing ads. That's
Yep.
annoying. You start seeing ads, right? So now you're definitely on the same, because the point of it is programming, right?
Yep.
So at least if you're going to program yourself in the right way,
Exactly.
or
Yeah.
in your way. Let you be in control of your own programming.
Yes.
So you're going to see the ad, then you're going to start seeing that car everywhere. And you're
Yep.
going to be like on the road, like, hold on, everybody got this car. I thought I was original. So that's gonna be that's what happens, because that's the biggest example I give to people, and they get it because it's something that we all go through in our mind mentally. And that is how you do it with anything else. So you take that, but you do it with what you want financially. You do it with what you want physically, mentally, emotionally. And that is how you bring yourself to get into the goals that you want. So first of all, you got to have goals.
Yes.
I teach that.
Absolutely.
That is one of the first thing I teach. You have to be aware, because someone that is not aware is someone that is not ready.
That's
You have
true.
to be aware, and you have to have goals. And when you have that, you can establish where you're going to go,
Yeah.
right? So if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling like, I don't know where to go, like, first of all, you have to be a dreamer. You have to be able to dream. If you feel like, there's so much going on in my life. If you could just take 5 minutes to yourself, or 10 minutes to yourself, or even like right before you go to bed, and put this dream, it'll start to come into your subconscious.
Yeah.
Once it comes to your subconscious, you're almost unstoppable at that point, because things will start to align with you without you really having to do much yet, but you'll start to get the idea. And then you'll start to be like, hold up, I was thinking about that. And I can name so many situations where that's happened to me. Even starting the travel agency this year versus in 2020, I started seeing a lot of signs. So if you're feeling stuck, sometimes you just need to revisit what your goals are, and revisit who you are and what you want. That's where it starts. It always starts internally. You don't look for some sign, don't look for, something out there for someone to tell you something. Sometimes you need that support, don't get me wrong. So
Yeah.
start with your therapist if needed,
Yeah.
okay?
Yes.
Start with your therapist, if needed, because you have to like get yourself right mentally to even be able to focus on what you're trying to achieve, and then your goals, and you keep going from there. Never, like I said earlier, sacrifice yourself for something that doesn't align with you, because one, you won't feel good spiritually, you won't feel good mentally, and you're just going to be suffering in silence. And that right there is not a good feeling. And then it's going to take you longer to get where you want to be, because you're suffering. So you might as well free yourself,
Yep.
become aware, make your goals, create a plan to get there. And if things don't go according to plan, that is okay. You got to be swift, and you got to
Yeah.
pivot and move to the
Yep.
next to the next thing. You got to be ready to hustle, like, and not just like out there what you think, but like mentally you have to want it, and you have to hustle for it. And I think that is something, because I'm having it down, you'll realize, because we all have ups and downs, you'll start
Mhm.
to realize, okay, like, I know where the hustle is, because I'm having it down. Like, and you're like, oh wow, I had that ambition. I had that, like, what do I need to do to get there again? And then you'll start to prove yourself every single time. And then things will change and align, and it'll keep going. So And I think, did I mention what I said earlier? Because I said I would read.
Yeah, I was just about to say, wait, go back to that thing that you pinned.
What did I pin? What do you remember what I pinned?
Yeah, because you were talking about the importance of the people that you're around and being in the room with people that are already where you're trying to go.
That is okay. That is probably one of the biggest advice to get. First, start with yourself and having goals because not many people realize what their goals are or even what the hell they want in life. So, and you'd be surprised at how many people are okay with that or realize that they don't have anything they're going. They're just going in life without anything, or they give up on what they want. So don't be that. Don't be that. And then two, you are mostly only as good as the company you keep. So
Yes.
if you keep keeping around people that on this lower vibration, on this lower wavelength, and you're not gonna get further than them because you're not learning anything. You're not educating yourself. You have to constantly educate yourself, and you have to believe it's possible. You have to believe that what you want is possible. If you don't believe that, then you are gonna be complacent. You are gonna sit there and you're just gonna be like, okay, like that person has, this new Bentley or $10,000. Like, I don't know how I'm gonna get there. Like, I don't know how to get that. And I've seen it. I've seen it because I have family like this. So I know, like, they're just like, that ain't gonna be me. Like that, I'm good with what I got because that just seems out the way. And I'm just like, hey, y'all, yes, it is possible. So what I've done, I've taken myself to conventions. I've linked up in networking with other people, business people. I've gone to events like FinCon, which is like big finance conferences. So find what you love to do because I promise you, there's something out there that that you can go to. Like my brother, for example, he's in the military, but his real love is YouTube. And he likes to make content related to like shot creation and like pretty much like basketball, NBA 2K or whatever,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
But he's been good ever since he was like 9, 10 years old playing people, and my dad would bet money and my brother would win. And he explained it to me recently. He was like, and honestly, I never thought to ask him this until now, and he's 20.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh, my brother does content. He's trying to stay on me about content because I'm terrible with the follow-up. Um, and he was like, he explained it to me. He was like, it's actually an art. It's something where you have to learn it. Like playing NBA 2K is not just playing it. You have to learn the players' moves, what types of shots they're gonna make. Because I was wondering, like, is there type of combinations you have to remember?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, it's an algorithm or something. And I was just like, "What? I
What?
never thought of it. I thought people throwing the ball." Like,
Yeah.
I had no idea. And he explained it to me, and so many people now reach out to him, and they're like, "Oh my god, you're my favorite shot creator." I'm like, "There's a market for that?"
I would have never known that.
Never know. People are reaching out to him like almost every day now, and he's so proud of himself because he's growing, but
Yeah.
like, he's not like big or anything, but like it's a start and that his
Yeah.
ambition keeps him going and keeps producing. And I'm so proud of him. That energy that he has motivates me because I'm just like, wow, he's getting comments like, oh my God, like you're the best. How did you do that? Can you upload this? Like, I'm your biggest fan. And I'm like, he got fans, my brother. Like, what?
I love that. I love it.
But what I'm trying to just say here is that when you align yourself with what you want, no matter what it is, as far off as I would have thought, it's NBA 2K, playing your game,
Yeah.
or if it's, being a coach for someone, or if it's selling, your favorite recipe, all of that comes from somewhere. And the reason why I'm saying it, because you learn when you go to these networking events, when you meet other business people, ask them how they started. Ask them, why do you do what you do? What is your story? Every person that I meet now, I ask them what their story is and like, why are you here right now? And that will humble you and them because you'll realize, wow, these people aren't as far-fetched as I thought they were. I've I've been around football players and people with lots of money. And even they got issues. Okay. Even
We
they got
all do.
all have issues. Everybody has issues. Everybody got things going on in their life. So if you just get out of your head and you go
Mhm.
out there and you start meeting people, even if you're not the most like extroverted person, maybe do a one-on-one, go
Yeah.
somewhere, let's get out there, see what's out in the world, and then do maybe a one-on-one with somebody that you think that you can learn something from. And that's how the world started. How y'all think people came about? We had to keep learning from each other. That is how you get somewhere. You learn from other people.
Yes.
Monkey see, monkey do. That is literally our genetics.
Yes.
So if you go out there, don't reinvent the wheel. Go find out from somebody.
That. Yes.
Go find out from somebody that already has done it. And you go out there and you get around those people with lots of money. You get around those people who take first class flights. You get around those people who have multiple businesses. You get around those people who have a whole bunch of kids, who got this lifestyle that you want, that got the house you want, they got the car you want. Don't be envious. Don't be jealous. Don't be hating. Literally, just learn from them.
Yes.
When you stop learning, you stop growing. And that's probably the biggest thing I can remember. That's probably been my most beneficial is my partner, my therapist, and being around other people in the room who've made it. And even if they haven't made it to where they want to make it to, they happy enough to where you want to be there. And
Yes.
that's just but always protect your peace. Don't do anything just for the money. Protect
Yes.
your peace and do it because you want to do it to make yourself happy. And whether that be the time, the freedom, but whatever you want to do, study those other people.
Love it. I love it. I hope that y'all are eating this up as much as I am. I've got all my notes out. If you want to stay connected with Des, I want to make sure I share her information. You can connect with her on Instagram. It's destination coaching underscore. So that's at destination coaching underscore. You can pick up the phone and call her. Okay. 904-420-7678. Again, it's 904-420-7678. Any last words that you want to share with everyone who's listening right now?
Oh my gosh, that's words. um, be the best you. That's it. And when you think the world's falling apart, I promise you're gonna get back up. You just have to keep going because there's something for everybody out there. And I can count how many times that I've looked and been like, life is over. And I could go into a whole thing. I doing listen, parents getting in trouble by your parents and you thought that life was over when you couldn't pay that one bill and you thought life was over. When your relationship ended and you thought that life was over, when you got laid off and you thought life was over, it's not. And sometimes you need to lean on people, lean on somebody special and close, whether that be a pastor, somebody in church, a close friend, a therapist. Do it. Do what you gotta do. Life is not over.
Absolutely. And I think you hit the nail on the head when you talked about just like that suffering in silence or being alone. Like we're all here together. Every single one of us has a story. All of us can help each other. And I just want to thank you again for sharing your story, dropping all these wisdom nuggets on us today.
I think so. I think it's wisdom.
Yes, yes. And just being available. And so to everyone that's listening, reach out, connect. Like we're here to help. Like that is the whole point of this. It's your journey. It's where your life begins and it starts with you.
Oh.